So, it's been a long time coming. First of all, shout out to every single person that contributed to making this happen. That be Mr. Clark, Mrs. Clark, Darius Clark, the genealogy of Clarks that came before this great Clark to make this possible. So, without further ado, he's finally here, and please introduce yourself to these beautiful three people that listen to this podcast. Sabina on her one account, my mom on her second account, and my mom on her third account.
That's wild. That's hilarious, though. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Do I introduce myself now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Tell us who you are. Tell us what you'd like us to know.
Hola, que sopa.
Yes,
My
sir.
name is Darius. Darius Clark. You know, I am here at Abilene Christian University trying to pursue a degree in information systems. Will it change? I don't know. Well, you just got to keep going through it. You see what I'm saying? But like, I'm here. I'm living life. And yeah, I'm with my brother here,
Yes, sir.
Nelson Holder.
Yes, sir.
So you know, let's go.
Let's hope an L is in hell during this time. So, with that being said, we're here ITC, we hear business major, we hear programming, we hear you being a jack of all trades. Let's discuss this entrepreneurial mindset of yours.
Oh goodness.
How much did you sell in water? First of all, let's give some context here. Talk about the process of venturing into ITC and how you've had to apply it in Abilene so far, and how much of a success it's been with your family at the church and everything.
All right, so first things first is apparently I didn't know that not ITC, but information systems was a business major. Yeah. I didn't know it was a business major. I just thought it was a programming technology major. But it's cool because I do need to learn some business aspects of technology as well. So one of the classes they put me in was Foundations of Entrepreneurship, and I got paired up with three amazing people, and we were selling water bottles. Now, it didn't start off well because we did not get our product until 6 weeks in. Yeah. And we had a total of 14 weeks. So it was kind of cutting close. But we were able to sell when our teachers didn't really believe in us that we could, which is hilarious, you know. But it is what it is. We proved them wrong. And then they started messing up with our numbers at Thanksgiving. So to give context to that, we have this thing called Venture Out Market. A Venture Out Market thing for all the students, whoever wants to show up. And that's when we sell our most product. And that's where we did sell our most product. And we sold over 370 something worth of bottles when our target profit goal is 375 for the class to get a 100. And we sold 375 at that point in time, but we also already sold another 100 and something earlier. So once the Venture Out Market concluded and we came back for Thanksgiving, I was chopping up the numbers with my dad. I was like, Dad, this don't look right. We was doing all the math and stuff. It was it just did not look right. And apparently we weren't the only people that had that issue. Apparently other groups had that issue. But it kind of scared me because it seemed like one of the TAs didn't like us.
TA lock-in.
Yeah. And it seemed like the professors didn't believe in us, which is fine. I mean, because we had got some 24-ounce water bottles that weren't to our liking. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'll just sell them to my church family. And he was like, oh, yeah, bet, let's do that. But my teacher just found all kinds of issues with that. So I was like, all right, bet, let's show him wrong. And when I FaceTime my dad, I kid you not, I FaceTime at 12. 5 hours later, he told me, Darius, I already sold $168 worth of bottles. I was like, thank you. I mean, obviously, thank you, Dad. But it's to my professor, I'm like, I told you. And then we were able to sell all $240 worth of 24-ounce water bottles. So it was there you go. We can do it. You just got to, believe in us. But that entrepreneurship thing was very good because it taught me what to do, what not to do, when to do certain things. And it taught me that obviously people aren't going to believe in you until you prove them wrong. And that's what we did. Just got to keep working at it, though. You can't give up at all, because if you give up, then you're going to be what if all the time. And it's going to be what if this could have gone right? What if this could have taken me to new heights? What if? And you don't want to live in what ifs. You want to live in matter of facts. Oh, yeah, no, I did this, and it turned into this. You know what I'm saying?
Pain of discipline versus pain of regret.
Exactly. So now, but at the same time, what you did can turn into, like, disappointment. But it's like, yeah, you may be disappointed, but it's good to learn from those disappointments. Take those L's and turn them into W's. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you got an L in one hand, you take the other L in the other hand, and you put them together, and then boom, you got a W.
Follow us with those viewers. L and L makes a W.
So all it does is you may take a couple of L's, but eventually when you learn from them and you grow from them, they're going to turn into W's. So
this isn't your first taste at ambition or ambitious ideas here at Abilene. I remember the first time you came here, the first thing you devoted yourself to talking to me about was what you intended on doing and building up. Well, you can talk about fundamentally whether it be your background in Grand Prairie, since you're from there. Shout out to Grand Prairie. Indeed. But more beautiful than I ever thought it was.
Yeah, you was hating on Grand
Prairie. I was
Prairie.
hating on...
I don't know why you were hating on Grand Prairie.
I called it Fort Prairie.
That's what I was like. How do you confuse Fort Worth to Grand Prairie? It's like, Grand Prairie is its own entity.
And then I go there and it wasn't exactly, like, the scenery is nice, but the people in their hearts are very grand. So I understand why my heart will always reside in Grand Prairie. But the first thing, a lot of people leave to establish their foundation and their roots in other places. But you want to come here, get a degree, and go back and build up your city or Grand Prairie. What do you intend on doing there? Or, like, what ambitions do you have?
No, it really wasn't Grand Prairie itself. It was Pittsburgh, the place where my grandpa and his family grew
Pittsburgh,
up.
Texas, for context.
Pittsburgh, Texas, not Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Oh, goodness
gracious.
But Pittsburgh, Texas, it's like a small town. I haven't been before, unfortunately, but my cousin, when they went during the family reunion that I wasn't able to attend, he came back to me and told me about, like, how, I want to call it run down, but it's just not a lot of stuff there that it could be. And he just gave me the idea of what if we start a business that could eventually turn into building up that entire city and under our name. That's the thing that's the most important thing about it to me. Yes, you build up the city, woo woo woo, but building up the city under my family's name, an African-American family-run city. That's my biggest dream. But even before I learned about, how Pittsburgh was, I mean, of course, learning what Pittsburgh, like, was at this point in time is like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gives me a goal and a specific place to do this at. But, like, my dream has always been build a town ran by the family for the family. You know what I'm saying? That's always been my dream. Establishing
familial and generational wealth with this.
Indeed. And I'm not going to lie. When I told my cousin, hey, I'm not going to lie, I'm nervous because, like, I don't like always bringing race into stuff, but this has happened before where, black people have...
You want to talk about Black Wall Street in that case?
Yeah, man.
I know we're going in that direction because we stand on the backs of the pillars of those who tried it before us.
Exactly.
And were massacred for ideas that were... Yeah.
So it's like... And then that... But it's like, though, because times have changed, they can do it in a way that's just, like, internal. You know what I'm saying? It would be, like, internal to make people just... Make it seem like it was our idea to not do it, you know what I'm saying? Versus the physical actually burning down or sinking cities and stuff like that. But, my cousin was like, you can't be scared of those things or else you won't be able to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's why I try my best not to be afraid of most situations, because I'm not trying to let fear get in the way of me accomplishing anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not afraid of it. I'm just gonna push forward with it.
Fear misguides a lot of people oftentimes, and being surrounded by people that are, fearless to some extent, apart from the stigmatized way and usage of the word, you had some ideas about how we could improve the freshman experience here at Abilene. Because, like, we won't sit here and denigrate Abilene, but there are definitely some things, culturally speaking, that we should all be more susceptible to and just opening our ears and hearing. And you don't have to go out and give all the sauce because these are your ideas. But you'll be here for 3 more years, and I really hope that the freshmen of the future can work off the back of what you've been trying to work on. Because you have some ideas about what to do for the freshman class of next centuries.
Because it's like, of course, coming to Abilene, a PWI, predominantly white institution, it was a culture shock. Even in Wildcat Week, we have this thing called, it's called Midnight Worship, but it was like a pre-Midnight Worship, kind of showing you what it's going to be like every Friday. But it was on Thursday, so it was during our curfew hours or whatnot. So I was just like, man, not that there's don't get it twisted. There's nothing wrong with the way anybody worship and praises. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
It's just, it's different for me. When you've grown up in a predominantly black, no, not predominantly black, all black church, and this is the way of praise for you all the time, it just like, it feels different. You know what I'm saying? And I've gotten used to it now. Yes, don't get it twisted. But at that time, at that specific time, it was a culture shock. And and that's just the way it was. So it got me, it going throughout the first semester, it just got me thinking, like, you can tell that minorities struggle to fit in, especially the African American section. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it would be amazing if there was a way to incorporate our culture, not forcefully, but invitingly, to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? That make it a safe place for people to come in, no matter what race or what. You know what I'm saying?
To have everyone enjoy the fruits of our labor and our sorrows and our sufferings, but also our joy and the plight that we share so beautifully within the community and the world, because everything is better in color. And take that as you will. You don't want to watch TV in black and white all the time. There's nothing fun about that. And the world is not just black and white, which is why, and we're talking culture. We're not just talking race. We're not just talking about ethnicity, culture. And
but it's also tough because being a freshman, it's like you have no voice. You see what I'm saying? Like, as a freshman, you have no voice. So you have to create your own voice. And you got to make it loud enough till their ears start bleeding. And so I had this friend that was like, oh, there should be things already made for us. You know what I'm saying? like, and I know. And I'm not
laughing because we both know who that is.
Yeah. But it's like, I understand that 100%, and I totally agree. Yes, there should be stuff that are made for us, but you got to come to the realization that there won't always be something for you. You got to go out and create it if you want it bad enough. You know what I'm saying? And he also said that we're freshmen. We shouldn't be the ones to be doing it. It's like,
which he's right, but in a sense, still, if he puts it on your heart, that means it's for you to lead. It's like Mr. B said when, shout out to Dr. Bowman's, or indeed, what a stellar soul and what a man of stellar capacity, and just an amazing individual. But with that being said, he said that Brothers Inc., in a sense, and how it came to fruition was a beautiful thing because he kept on deferring it to other people and then eventually realized that if God put this on my heart, it means that it's up to me to pursue it and establish a foundation of it here. Whether I have no voice, I'm going to create my voice and allow it to spread, because a lot of people start fires, but very few people know how to control where those fires spread to. So with the movement that you're trying to create, what's to be understood is it's not just for Abilene, but it's significantly bigger. It's a culture that will be created and it's established here for greater things and greater purposes than just us. And that's the beautiful thing about you, the bigger picture. We oftentimes, like, I find myself with your ideas being so ambitious that we think very narrow-minded, especially myself, where, like, the idea of the party thing, people weren't understanding that it wasn't the party aspect. It was the fact that you wanted to establish a culture here at Abilene. Yes. And then you spoke about your church. So I was going to ask you to talk a little and discuss your upbringing in church a little and how it contributed to your community and who you are today.
You know, bro, I'm not going to lie. Church is just extended family. That's all it is just extended family. Like, I can't remember a time where I wasn't in church. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of those people in church raised me, you know, and they made me who I am, along with my parents, grandparents, and uncles. You know, along with my immediate family, my church family also raised me into the person who I am today. So that's why, along with, you know, being away from home, that's kind of why it was tough for that midnight worship, because it was like, oh snap, my this is the first time where my church family is not here with me, praising their normal praise, you know. So it's like not only leaving my parents, it's like leaving my church family. So yeah, man, they had a huge impact on me since I was a little kid, since I was born. Actually, it's just, you know, my extended family, for real.
Did you not did you enjoy, but what was it like going back for the first time during Thanksgiving to see it? Because like he did mention his mom and dad as well, but for this to be understood, his mom and dad are basically the church as well.
Yeah,
everyone's very involved, and that's, as I said, although we've connected through a lot of like-minded things, we differ in upbringing. I wasn't really brought up in the community aspect of church. I was brought up in the community of somewhat family, not so much on my dad's side, because there are some ulterior things that transpired before I was even born that didn't really. It's like the term, I may not know you personally, but I know you historically. Yeah. So historically speaking, I may be a little more alienated from a lot of family on that side. Whereas my mom raised me close to my cousins, and we're basically like brother and sister. Whereas you, when I got the chance to go back to your church during Thanksgiving, and for added context, I'm from Canada. I'm here in Abilene, Texas. You can imagine what distance that is. Y'all know how far that is. Yes. Darius and his family were not hesitant to look me in my eye and say, if you need a place to stay at any point, come with us during Thanksgiving. And I got to go there, and as I said, after a slew of hating on Grand Prairie, which led me to like repenting for like years, I came back and I was like, Lord, forgive me, please. I love Grand Prairie. These people are amazing. And then interacting with your church folk, how warm and accepting they were. Like, is it really like that all the time?
It is like that all the time.
What's it like being surrounded by that? Because oftentimes we yearn for love, and
it's overwhelming. As a kid, I'll say it like that, because it's like a lot to live up to. Yeah. Because it's like you want to be like that so bad, but sometimes you're just not. Yeah. You know, and you're afraid that you never will be. So It's not like they're holding me to this standard that I have to, you know, that's just me doing that to myself, which isn't the best thing to do. I can understand that. But it's like, I want to be as welcoming and as loving as my church family, as my family are. So when I'm not, that's like, because, you know, sometimes people mistake my kindness for being rude, because I'll tell you the truth no matter what. Because like there's been multiple situations where I told the truth to somebody that I really cared about, and they just took it to a whole nother level. Like there was this one friend that I used to have. I told him the truth, told him the honest to God truth, and he sat there with his head down, saying just nodding his head. Couldn't even look me in the eye. So it's like, I don't know. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? It's just like, I don't know, you know?
Do you sometimes stop using your voice? And this is relating back to the finding your voice and making it. How do you allow your voice to be projected if you've had such a history constantly of being misconstrued, or your words being taken as something personal, or being interpreted as something that's rude and meant to put down, instead of something to uplift and build a foundation and fortify?
That's and it goes back to what I told you before. Yeah. That says more about that person than it does about me. If I'm telling you the truth and I'm doing this out of a place of, because for me, I'm not finna pour out like all this truth to you and like be stern about it if I don't care about you. If I'm telling you what it is and how I feel, I'm telling you because I care about you. Now, if you take it some other type of way, honestly, that says more about you than it does about me. You know, because I'm trying, and that's the thing. It may be the way I say it. That's why I'm trying to work on the way I say it and whatnot. But at the same time, I just wish people would understand that it's out of a place of love and caring and whatnot. I want to see you succeed. I don't want to see you go down this wrong, path. I just care too much to see people, hurt themselves, self-destruction and whatnot like that. So, and plus, if somebody got an issue with me and I'm not bothered by it, it's just like,
So if we're going to bring this all the way back, you oftentimes are the person that you are to people that you wish you had yourself. I got the chance to go back to your elementary, your middle, and your high school.
Oh my goodness.
Now, we could focus on any part, but before we start delving into what you would have wished, would you have wished that a person like that would have come to you in middle school? Talk about some notable experiences that you have that you remember from your years in high school, because we can start positive, because high school is basically where you said your foundation started as who you are today.
I mean, high school, of course, I obviously matured. I figured out actually what I want to do as far as my life went. At first, it was just football. But then when I got hurt and I knew I couldn't play football no more, I was just like, okay, I got to find something else. And so, yeah, I was like, my fault. I mix up my words a lot, so I apologize.
Because you're thinking very quickly, and it's very hard to catch up to your thoughts oftentimes.
I gotta slow down, but
you gotta spin the block twice. Like there ain't nowhere to park.
Yeah, but it allowed me to slow down and be like, I got time before I gotta go out into life for real. So, excuse me. So let me figure out what I want to do as far as life goes. And that's what high school allowed me to do. Now, are there things that I wish I would have done more in high school? Like go out more with friends and stuff like that? Yes, of course. That's why I changed in college. That's why I'm more of a social butterfly in college. I'm telling you right now, the people that were in high school with me would have never expected me to be like this, how I am in college. Like, if you only meeting me in college would have given me a description and give that to somebody else, like describe me to somebody else, they'd be like, you're lying.
Or if I got the chance to speak to a younger you probably wouldn't even believe yourself.
I wouldn't believe it because I was so isolated. I didn't want to talk to nobody, and that was because of middle school. I did not want to talk to anybody. And I felt like the only way, I didn't want to talk to people, but it got to a point where I felt like the only way I can get attention, because I was an attention seeker in high school, the only way I could get an attention is if I be like a loud and obnoxious, brat. And that's what I was in high school. And that's what I was in middle school. And people noticed that and stopped talking to me, which is fair. I would have stopped talking to me too. I wish that I would have figured it out sooner, because I heard a lot of people that didn't deserve to be hurt, like relationships. Now, middle school, I don't count relationships in middle school because it's like,
let's start it there.
What are you going to do in middle school? Anyway, in middle school, I was in some relationships with the same person multiple times, and I broke up with them because of petty reasons. And that was not right of me at all, because it's like, what are you doing hurting people's hearts? And it's just like, I don't know what I was doing. Maybe because I wanted to get attention. Maybe because I just wanted to have a girlfriend just in the sake of saying, oh, I got a girlfriend, I can do this, that, and the third. Oh, I can say this, that, and the third to a specific person and whatnot. But it didn't matter because I was hurting them, And so, hurt somebody so bad that they stopped talking to me. Hurt multiple people, friends, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. Which is why it was tough at the beginning of high school. I had to make friends that weren't from my middle school, and those are my closest friends now. Other than my boy Anthony.
Shout out to them.
Other than my boy Anthony, because Anthony's been with me since elementary school. But even with Anthony, there was a dip off in middle school, and then it came back in high school. I was just not the best person in middle school. Let's just say that. But then again, I was a kid who was seeking for attention and was dumb. Now, am I going to say? Am I going to, what's the word? What am I looking
Exonerate,
for?
Vindicate, no.
Am I going to make excuses?
Oh, I wasn't even close. Like, I'm so far off the mark.
Am I going to make excuses for the way I acted? No, because what I did was wrong. And I will admit, what I did was wrong. But can I
give yourself some grace?
Yeah, of course you can. You can always give, not always, but a kid that doesn't know what they're doing nor understands why they're doing it, you can give them a little bit of grace.
Do you ever get frustrated because you still see that kid sometimes?
Of course. I see that kid all the time, unfortunately, because that's implemented into who I am now. Am I the exact same person as before?
Hell
Heck
no.
no. Because I grown up. And when you grow up, you live and you learn. Hopefully, because some people are still man children. So it's like, you hope and pray that you are better than what you were before, which I gladly can say I am. I remember I was doing a concession stand thing in high school with NHS, and this girl I knew in middle school, she was like, Darius, you changed a lot since middle school. I was like, what do you mean? She was like, in middle school you used to be so mean and I didn't want to talk to you at all. I was like, oh dang, really? Well, I wasn't like, oh dang, really, because I was like, I know, right? But she was like, I'm so proud of how you changed. And I was like, you know what, that made me happy. And even though I don't talk to this girl at all, I was like, nobody now at this point can say anything about me being not being different. Oh, you can't be like, oh, Darius, you're the exact same how you were in middle school. I'm like, no, I'm not, and I know that, and that's another issue. Some people still stick on how I was in middle school. Like, I know this one person that won't. I used to like her at one point, right? I don't know more, but I used to like her at one point, but she couldn't get over how I was in middle school.
She wouldn't let you leave the cocoon and become a butterfly. She still saw you as a caterpillar.
Exactly. Which is understandable, but at the same time, not fair, especially when I've done all this work to try and change. But it's just like, it came to the realization that some people are just going to have their memories stuck at that point in time. And it's like, there's nothing I can do about it. So why would I wallow in the past with her? It's time for me to keep moving forward like I've been doing this whole entire time. And so that's why I realized that those relationships in middle school should just stay in middle school, because I was trying to be in a relationship with her in high school when I realized that was a middle school thing. Whatever happened in middle school happened. That should just be left there. And that's why I believe that going back with your ex is a horrible idea. You know what I'm saying?
Stay away.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Stay away.
Roadblock, tape it up, put it on a plane, crash it.
Exactly.
Stay away.
Because especially when you go into different environments, like middle school and high school. My middle school and high school are in the same city, but they're two different environments. When you change I'm sorry. Let me get my words back.
You're good.
When you break up with somebody, right, and then you're trying to come back to them months later, it's like you can't, because you changed in those months, years, weeks, whatever, because you have spent time without them. Your mindset changes, the people you talk to change, the voices of influences change.
Yeah.
People you take advice from change. So it's like not only you but the other person. So y'all could either clash or it can go together perfectly. And testing that out is just not the move to go.
Do you think that sometimes we should, because one of the main themes of forgiveness is grace, and the fact that we're given grace, apart from the fact that they might be exes, are we to lend the same grace to others as we would expect to lend to us? Or is it just difficult considering they have the X label?
What do you mean?
So you talked about leaving things in high school and not taking them with you. Would you consider, and not you personally, because you're in a beautiful dynamic right now, and nothing should change about situation. That, which we will definitely be talking about extensively. I have no storage constraints on your phone.
Yeah,
so
I got
we can slow it down and go crazy and actually delve into some really fun topics.
Okay,
so with that being said, leaving certain things in the past, and it's like the term, you can read a book twice, but ultimately the end will be the same.
Yeah.
The difference is people are dynamic and they change and they shift and we evolve every day.
Your opinions about the book changes.
Precisely. Have you had instances like the person in middle school that you feel like because I can't say that you were the best person based on what you said. Do you wish that they would at least give you some grace? And do you feel like you're still stuck in that shadow with them, even until now?
I mean, now, I don't see this person as I'm trying to be with her type of person. I see this person as like just a close friend. But
it's not fair.
Even in this close friendship, they still treat me like how I would, like, not treat me, but they still see me how I was in middle school. They don't realize that I've grown up. I was freaking, how was I in middle school? I just turned 13 or a teenager or whatever. Is that the right age? I think so.
Could be.
Yeah, 7th grade, 13.
12 going on to 13 maybe.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, that's right.
Teenagers.
So just became a teenager, don't know what the heck is going on. And now I'm a 19-year-old kid pushing 20. It's like, you're still seeing me in that same light. I was like, dog, I can't do anything about
that. Means that person themselves hasn't changed enough to be able to see the light that's changed somebody else.
Exactly.
Oftentimes when we don't move with change, it means we're stuck in our own mind, and it's very hard to move on from change because humans don't exactly conform to change very well.
Indeed.
But
to give them some grace, they haven't seen me change. You know, it'll be one thing, like Anthony, he's probably seen me from elementary, middle, high.
I was just about to ask.
You know what I'm saying? Elementary, middle school, high, and college. Anthony is probably the only person throughout my whole entire school years who is valid enough to say, "Oh, you haven't changed. This hasn't changed." Woo woo. He's the only person because he's been with me since the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Anthony.
Indeed. And but this person that we're talking about now, They haven't really been with me in high school. They have like hang out. They haven't really seen me in high school for real. And they of course don't see me in college because none of the people nobody I know in Grand Prairie lives here except for Kobe. Well, Kobe, I didn't know Kobe in high school.
Shout out to Kobe as well.
But now I know Kobe lives in Grand Prairie, so we can hang out more. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is
summer plans incoming.
Indeed, but the point is. People who I went to elementary, middle school, high school with aren't here in Abilene. They're not here in college, so they're not here to witness the difference I'm making within myself and then within other people. So whatever they say or whatever they think now to me is just like invalid or just. I mean, not saying it doesn't. Fair. Not saying it doesn't matter. It's just like
you know who you are and. Again, that says more about you than it does about me.
Indeed.
Their inability to look at a metamorphosis. Like, you can't look at a caterpillar and a butterfly and say that's the same thing.
Exactly.
There's
a change that has to be happen over time. And it's not like you expected me to change like that. It's like, I needed this time to change. And whether you accept this change or not, it happened. You know what I'm saying? So, this change happened whether you're willing to accept it or not. And that's just something that hopefully I pray that you understand and see, but I'm not going to force it down your throat. I'm not going to force you to be like, look at me, I've changed. I'm just going to let my actions do the talking. And that's what I think is the issue with a lot of people. We seek for attention
and validation.
Because that's how I was in middle school until I realized no amount of attention that I get is going to make me a better person.
Or fill the void that you were looking to fill.
Exactly. I had to do that for myself and find the things that make me happy and whatnot to fill the void.
Yeah.
And grow and be a better person. And I can gladly say I am. Because, you know, people would be like, oh, I don't know if I have. No, I have changed. And I know I've changed. I've gotten confirmation. Not that confirmation, like, I appreciate the confirmation, but I'm not doing it for confirmation. I'm doing it so I can better myself. Because I realized there was an issue. And I wanted to get better. So... yeah. So
throughout that time, what would you say are things that you clung to the most or discovered anew to help that metamorphosis? So we could talk about anime, we could talk about wrestling. Because initially, I diminished and dismissed. The same way I diminished Grand Prairie was the same way I diminished anime. Because I saw the both. I didn't see Grand Prairie as childish because that's like an entire town. Don't come for me, please. I love you, Mr. and Mrs. Clark and Gabby. I love all of you. I love my family. But as for like anime, it was something that I never saw as anything more than
a Japanese cartoon
or a primitive endeavor. I was like, and it was so condescending of me because I didn't understand what it could do. So please attest to speak to what it and how it got you through these times if you feel the need to, or just if you want to, or comfortable with doing so.
Anime is a thing that's just like, I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough to explain, because for me at least, because like anime for me was an escape from reality. Obviously, you got these fantasy worlds, and you got these fictional characters that are doing spectacular stuff when it comes to either fighting, romance, whatever. Things that you hope to see, as far as romance or whatever, stuff you hope to see in your lifetime. Like, of course, you want to fall in love, get married, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
And then you see these spectacular stories with these opposing characters and how they can closely relate to each other, how they're different, how they're similar, and what makes their differences, like how the opposites attract and whatnot like that, and how it makes it a good, like, battle and whatnot. My favorite anime, of course, is the GOAT, the greatest anime of all time. Number 1 in manga sales. Number 2 comic book of all time, best selling, is the GOAT, One Piece.
Speak on it.
I love One Piece so much because it deals with so many internal topics like slavery, racism, corrupt government, hierarchy, what else? Liberation, freedom, oppression, war. Because there's this good quote by Doflamingo. There are kids who have never seen... Okay, I'm sorry. I got to paraphrase this because I can't remember exactly what he said. It was something along the lines of kids who have never seen war and kids who have never seen peace have different perspectives on what freedom is and what the right thing is. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Kids who have never seen war and kids who have never seen peace have different ideals of what
there is.
Yeah. Kids who have never seen peace and kids who have never seen war have different values. Those who stand at the top determine what's wrong and what's right.
There we go.
And that's literally what One Piece is. There are people who have seen nothing but war and oppression. And then you see kids who have seen nothing but peace, privilege, and prosperity. And that's why the war of Marineford was so important, because that was the determining factor on who's really wrong and who's really right. See, like, if Luffy becomes the Pirate King, he can honestly shape the world of One Piece however he wants it, Because it's like, and it's the crazy thing, you have pirates like Luffy who are good. And then you question the Navy, the Marine, like, why are you gunning after these good people? But then you understand when you got people like Blackbeard who are just pure evil, and it's like, that's why the Navy is coming after these pirates, because they think they're all like this, because a majority of them are. And then at the same time, they treat the story in Luffy's perspective, got the Navy, who are supposed to be the good guys, as pretty much like supposed to be the heroes. But for Luffy's perspective, it's like those are the enemies, and we can see why, because you got people like a Kainu, who is just like, he's just so, his perspective of justice is just so wrong, versus a person like Kobe's perspective of justice, where it's just like, that's justice, and this is blind justice. I don't know what you would call it, but a Kainu is a trip. But you can, it's like you understand why people are afraid of the Navy and why people love the Navy. You understand why people want to become pirates, and you understand why people are afraid of pirates, because there's a difference between literally every aspect of them. And then it's like you got the rebel army that are trying to oppose the celestial dragons. And the celestial dragons are just people who think they're gods, honestly. And like, you touch them, you die.
We have all those people here at ACU.
Yeah, bro. So it's like, that's why I love One Piece so much. And it's like, it does a good job with blending it with a funny story and a good story and an enjoyable story. It teaches you, but you also have a good time at the same time. And that's why I like anime, because it teaches you and you have a good time and a fun time at the same time. So that's why anime helped me out. But what's up?
Did anime and being able to see those characters and the undertones give you hope for who you wanted to be now?
Of course, because you see these characters who struggle. Like Luffy, he lost his crew. He lost his brother. Oh, spoiler warning, but it's like this came out in like 2011. So if you haven't seen this part,
that says more about you than it does about me.
but Luffy lost his crew, lost his brother, thought he was weak. And he was weak. He was tremendously weak. I mean, like, during the war, he couldn't really compete with anybody on the field, except for people he's already defeated in the past. But, like, Whitebeard was stronger than him. Blackbeard, Akainu, Akiji, Kizaru, and just pretty much Mihawk. At the time, Doflamingo. Everybody on that battlefield, Luffy had no business being there because he was going to get slapped up. And he did. He almost died, like, twice. So seeing people like that be able to change, now, of course, changing who you are as a person and changing your strength are two different things, but they're also similar at the same time. Somebody to go from this, because Luffy, he's not weak, but he was weak and compared to all these other monsters of people. Seeing somebody go from this and taking the 2 years to train and get better and turn into this and now be like renowned as one of the greatest pirates in the world at this point in time, it's like, you know, when you're at your lowest, you can change and be better. You just got to put the work in. And that's what Luffy taught me. Once you are at your lowest, there is a way out for you to do better. Once you hit rock bottom, the only way you can go is up. And that's what Luffy did, and that's what I'm trying to do.
It's funny because you talk about the battle and how he almost died twice. Yeah. And do you think you've metaphorically died and given yourself a rebirth?
Indeed.
In your eyes?
Indeed.
Who do you think? Okay.
Who do you think killed me? Nah, just nah.
No, but no.
Don't you dare.
No.
Dare.
Okay. So now that you feel like you're in a place where you belong, not only it's so funny seeing you how you can juxtapose yourself with these characters and seemingly allow their virtues to bleed into your everyday life. Indeed. Which Luffy goes from this battle where he's not supposed to be, to where you have yourself in you find yourself in a place where you don't belong. Not just middle school, but like the Midnight Worship instance where you realize that you're going to have to adjust, but not adapt in a way where you assimilate to the people around you, but allow your culture to stand forward and stand forth and adapt and change the environment around you. You couldn't change and conform to them, but you would have to allow your culture to be seen and shine brightly, because often we mitigate our light, like not finding our voice and destroying it. And with you allowed your voice to promote change within yourself and give you the confirmation that you've become the person you are. Like with the beautiful dynamic that you have.
Real quick, and because of that, the letting, because I can't change Abilene fully, you know what I'm saying, but I can. And it's funny, it's small little stuff that I noticed. Just like today, my teacher had donuts out, and for like 10 minutes wasn't nobody getting no donuts. So I went over there, got a donut, sat back down, and then I saw everybody else go get a donut. It's just that you know, all it takes is one person. That's that type of mindset. All it takes is one person, and then everybody else will follow, you know. But you just got to be the one to if you want change, you got to make the change happen. You see what I'm saying? You
were also that one person for yourself, Indeed. Which you are now being that one person for everybody else.
Because my friend Javier, he's like,
shout out Mr. Russell.
My friend Javier, he's like, I'm so charismatic, and I take that with full, what's it called? Gratitude. Thank you. I appreciate that, because that's what I try to be. I'm trying to be a social butterfly. I'm trying to be somebody that people can come and talk to. Like you. I don't think you understand how much of a social butterfly you are. You may not think so, but a lot of people come to you with issues and whatnot, and you're able to help them. Well, you may not help them all the time because sometimes their problems are just too big for you, because you have your own problems. So it's like you can't always bear everybody else's problems, and because you don't want the whole weight of the world on your shoulders. But it's
I'm
like
not my Lord and Savior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
I try my best.
But that's the point. You try. So
But you said something so beautiful yesterday on that walk about mistakes.
Oh yeah.
Because there's also that side of it, and helping people.
Yeah, you may not hit a home run every single time, but you got to use your mistakes as lessons. It's either you're gonna be like you fail and be like, ah, snap, I failed, dang, I'll never be able to do this, or you're gonna be like, okay, let's figure out why I failed, change those to corrections, let's correct those, and let's bounce back and do it better the second time.
It was difficult helping people with their issues initially, and because it was let's say it was mostly very difficult, because oftentimes when you set yourself to a certain standard throughout your life, you devote yourself to expecting other people to walk at that wavelength.
Yeah.
When you walk if you put your pants on 2 feet at a time, you then look at the other person as bizarre, or you start to look at everything else as atypical. So in me, at some point, I developed this really, really irrational sense of it was prideful insolence, and it was because I saw other people and looked at them and said, why do you not devote yourself to improving yourself every day? Indeed. How can you live in a stagnant position? Indeed. Because you've died at 23, they will bury you at 70, but you've already died long before then, and the energy that you bring into your death is just plunder and desolation. So you've desolated yourself. You've given up on yourself. My guidance counselor used to say, the greatest project that we have in life is ourselves. And you're a testament to that, because you've brought yourself out of, I fell on my face, got up on, but like genuinely, I had to, because everybody's empathy is something I feel in abundance, as you do as well. And it was so difficult because I used to feel burden, as the Caribbean saying, don't take on people's burden. Yeah. And what I had to learn was that everybody moves at their own wavelength. Frequencies don't all move at the same wavelength. And we don't all, we're parallel lines. Sometimes we meet in each other's life and cross, and sometimes that's shorter than others. So, and I never realized how loud actions speak, because I was a huge person in trying to allow my words to sway certain people. But like in your instance, like the donut example, your actions have influenced so many people, like the way you carry yourself, the way you're unapologetically you, the hat that you wear that has such a deeper significance than people will ever realize. But the fact that you do it and people recognize you in something that most people wouldn't do, you take pride in.
Indeed.
So I guess it's kind of like not just understanding that you have now become the person that you once sought to be. We all learn from you through action, because as you said, your words may not always be formulated or conveyed properly. But one thing that always is action, because there's congruency in your life. You will never become somebody who ultimately despises the word they speak and turn away from it. If you're going to say something, you're going to stand on that harder than you speak on it.
Yeah, because it's like you may be wrong, you know what I'm saying? But you learned from being wrong, and you're able to tell. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, you could be wrong. Somebody tell you you're wrong. It's up to you whether you're going to take that and move with it. You know what I'm saying? You could be wrong and somebody tell you that you're wrong, and you could be stubborn to the very end and be like, no, I'm wrong. I'm right. I know I'm right. I know 2 + 2 is 5 when it's obviously 2 + 2 is 4. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was that person. 2 + 2 is 5. 2 + 2 is 5 when somebody had to tell me no, it's 4. And then I was like, no, it's 5. No, it's 5. But then I had to sit back and be like, you know what? It is 4. You know? And that allows you to go to somebody else who thinks 2 + 2 is 5. You have the ability to tell them 2 + 2 is 4 because you were wrong. You learned that you were wrong, and you accepted that you're wrong. And you're able to tell the right information to somebody else who was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be like, how did you know? Because I was wrong before. And somebody told me the truth. Right. And what it really was. So it's a stubbornness thing. It's like we got to get out of our own like heads and listen. And then formulate, you know, whether what is correct and what's wrong. Because it's like you can have a situation happen, right? Get some facts and then be able to come up with the conclusion then until you get more facts, and then you'd be like, oh, your perspective changed. That's what people need to do. They need to
had that situation happen to us like right in front of our face.
But everybody needs to be able to, you know, change perspectives when you get new information. Yeah, it's okay to formulate opinion. Sure, yes. And you may still be against whatever new, like your position may not change when you get that new information. But it's like, once you get that new information, you can think about it, take it on, and then reevaluate your opinion. Like, oh, my opinion was this. I get new information. My opinion is still this. You know, you taking that information, you think about that information, and that information just gave you more of a reason why your opinion is still this. Or it could be like, my opinion is this. I take in this information. Oh, this is new information. That is a contributing factor to the way I should be thinking. Now I shift my perspective because of this new information. You should always take in new information and be able to adjust to it. Whether you still stand on the business you were standing on, or you move to a new business and stand on that one.
Adapting on the fly, just like sports. If someone gives you a new move, you can implement it, or you can choose to get rid of it. But if you do between the legs, every time you go to the bucket, shoot. Tween, dribble. That's not going to work. You got to find some counters. You got to adjust. And a testament to life showing you that you change is giving you... It's so funny watching your life come and just unfold, because like you've been given so many situations to prove whether you're going to revert and relegate yourself to that old self, or allow yourself to continue going through that metaphorical cocoon of yours that allows you to change. So now that you're kind of fine, you're like I don't know what they call it, but you and the dynamic you have now with this person would be like two different. It'd be like you two are fluttering at like a very similar very similar pace. It's so nice. Like oftentimes you'll see a butterfly and their wings are the same color. But you ever seen a butterfly where both their wings are different colors, but yet they fly with the same rhythmic beauty? Yeah. That's you two. I was trying to find an analogy all night when I was talking about it with you yesterday, but I couldn't find it. So, like, if you want to talk about the influence that's had on your life, we may discuss it.
You want me to talk about the influence that this person has had on my life?
Absolutely. Wow. Because you're tweaking out just thinking about it right now. Look at you. You're smiling. You're enjoying yourself. This man got comfortable in his seat. He started thinking of the sunshine, the dew, the rainbows. I've never seen this man smile from ear to ear. This isn't ear to ear. Goodness. His antenna in his hair just went up just hearing about this. Like,
what in the world?
Man, you being happy like this is really beautiful to see. That's so funny. And you being so passionate about something or somebody and something for somebody is even more beautiful.
Yeah, okay. I guess we could talk about it.
We speak about these things a lot with people who have, like, skewed... Ellie, I'm talking about you. Yeah. And... unfortunately, it's sad that they had to go through it and are enduring the metaphorical cocoon of it. Yeah. But now you're like in that cocoon with somebody else. Yeah. What's that new? Like? What's it like? That's new experience for you. Yeah. It's so many different cocoons in your life.
I don't know why it feels so. It doesn't feel weird to talk about it because I talk about it like every day. Like, I can't go one day without, mentioning her name and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But she I don't think she'll ever understand or fully grasp how important to my life she is. And I'm trying to think of the right words to think. I can't she's she's impacted my life in such an amazing way.
Oh, so no, it's beautiful because I was making sure that I was using the right verbiage. Yeah. Because technically, I believe it's moths that weave cocoons in a sense. Oh. But you could call it a metamorphosis. Metamorphoses. Mm-hmm. There are different instances in your life, different metamorph. What do you call it when they go from like one instinct to the other in anime? Was that Dragon Ball where he goes like
instant transmission?
No,
or are you talking about Super Saiyan?
Yeah, what's that called?
What do you mean?
Like the process of going from... Because there's an Ultra Saiyan, right?
No, there's a Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct Master. You're just going through all of that right now, and you're going up... It's like you have to learn these new techniques and learn how to control your... And I may be wrong because I haven't watched Dragon Ball in freaking... since the Tournament of Power.
Don't get too angry, Nisi.
Came out. Like in 2018, I think is when Dragon Ball Super ended. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the last time I was on Dragon Ball, so I can't remember exactly how these power ups work. But I know for Ultra Instinct, it took, I want to say months, because I don't really know the timeline of Super like that because it's all weird. But I know it took months of training and learning how to do Super Saiyan. I mean, not Super Saiyan, but Ultra Instinct. It's like a Ultra Instinct itself is it's a technique where you let your body. I could be saying it wrong, but you let your body move for you. You don't think. You just let it. That's why Goku's just able to dodge without thinking. It's just like letting your body move.
That's kind of like what we try to. That's kind of like what we hope to become in the dynamics that we have one day.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like you've gotten to a point in it where you become so much more considerate of not only yourself and your environment, to the point where you're avidly trying to change things so that you can make this other person more comfortable, but not just for yourself this time, but in it with another person. And your lack of words to describe it actually says more than if you had been able to describe it. Some things are so beautiful that are us, like, we'd ruin it if we spoke about it.
I can't put into words how important she has been in my life. Like, a metamorphosis. I was talking about it. I was talking about it to my brother, and he was like, "Dog, I don't ever think I've seen you. I don't think I've ever seen you this excited about something like this." No, what did he say? It's been a long time since I've seen you this excited about someone, or this, like, happy about a potential relationship that you're going to be in. I was like, dog, I don't think I have ever been this excited. And I think the reason why is because of how slow things are going. You know what I'm saying? Back then, everything moved fast. Like, every relationship that I've been in, it moved fast. It was fast. So, it didn't take time to develop. But with this, it's moving so slow, and at God's timing, that it's just like everything is just piecing itself together the way it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? And, man, I can't think, because usually nowadays when somebody finds the slightest reason to leave, they leave. But with her, I've been able to come clean about a whole lot of things, and she's still here with me.
Same with her, with you.
You know what I'm saying? So I truly appreciate it. And that just, like, that just shows how deep this is and how much more deep it's going to get. You know what I'm saying? So if for anybody who is thinking about being with somebody, because I'm not with her yet, but I feel like I'm going to be, but it's just moving slow and at an amazing pace. So for anybody who's looking to be in a relationship, I encourage them, take it slow. Learn the person, figure out whether, because it's like when you're in a relationship or you're trying to be in a relationship, you should not have the mindset of, oh, I'm going to be with this person and then I'm going to break up with them. Nobody ever goes into a relationship thinking that they're going to break up. You know what I'm saying? Like, nowadays people should be going into a relationship, and it may sound crazy to some, but people should be going into relationships, not playing around, being serious, and most of all, thinking that this person is going to be the person I see myself with forever. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, why on earth would you get into a relationship and just, like, expect it to go wrong? I mean, yes, things go wrong, but nobody expects it to go wrong. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is looking for it to go wrong. Why would you get into a relationship and look for it to go wrong? People should be in a relationship, date however long it takes them, and then should be like, I don't know. That's just the way I see it. And it may not be for everyone, but it's just the way I see it, because it's like, why would you be in a relationship just to not want to be with that person? You know what I'm saying? Forever. Because it's like, you're just wasting your time at that point.
This is like a real testament to, because like initially as kids, very many things that we see as toxic become so healthy, like people establishing boundaries and establishing who they are with another person beforehand. And we're both still young. We barely cracked 20, and we're discussing these very adulting. Like, I used to think of this poem, or like rather poetic thing, when I would see the two of you. I was thinking about it like this. Have you ever seen, this is such a silly ass example, the Care Bear stare? Like the Care Bears and how much love they emanate through. I used to think of it like this, like her being one Care Bear and you being the other, and you like emanating love and radiance to herself that needed healing, and her giving you that confirmation that middle school child is no longer there, and you've allowed yourself to go through your metamorphosis and just develop into this person that can allow you to meet with the same love at the same time.
That's another thing that I appreciate her for. She accepts me for all my flaws, and she doesn't try to change me. You know, relationships before, they try to change me into the way they want to, you know, or I've tried to change myself to their liking. I was able to be myself, and I'm still able to be myself, obviously. I was able to be myself, and we just gravitated towards each other. She was able to be herself, I was able to be myself, and we just gravitated towards each other. There was no change necessary, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's why it's still good, because at one point when you're trying to find somebody and you're changing yourself, like you're changing yourself just to appeal to that, wait, did I say that right? You're changing yourself just to be appealing to that person.
Yeah, you got it.
And it's like, okay, you get that person, great, cool, whatever. What happens when they start seeing the real you? Are they going to up and leave?
Can't hide the real you for too long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can never hide the real you for too long. So it's like, at some point, they're going to see the real you. Why not just show it to them up front? That should be the reason why they should be like you in the first place, because they see the real you. You know, I'm goofy, I'm funny, I'm outgoing. And she saw that. That's how I met her. I was outgoing. Oh, man. Am I going to go to the story of how I met her? Should I go through the story of how I met her?
Let's do it.
I might as well just go to the story of how I met her. Okay, cool. So, they walked into, her and her roommate, they walk into the
cafeteria.
The cafeteria, as like we would like to call it. And I have this, and so me and my friend, we see them and we're like, okay, bet. Let's go say hi. You know? I wasn't thinking about her in this type of way at all, you know? I wasn't thinking about her like, oh, that's the person who I want, you know? Obviously, I thought she was pretty. Obviously, I mean, like, gorgeous individual. But I got to talking to her, you know? I was outgoing. I was not, because they already sat down. I'm sorry. It's a lot to think about.
Why are you... You're saying so much more in doing this than you... Like, I'm telling you, this is beautiful. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Because you're not... You went this entire beginning of this podcast having straight stand on bit. You were very much knowledgeable of what you wanted to say, you know, because it wasn't abstract. This is those entrepreneurship that, like, there's a template. It's very practical. This is not. This is very abstract. This is the realm of poetry. This is the realm of where art is created, and you're weaving art through the tapestry of your words, and it's very difficult. Okay, I'll ask you something that may give you some direction. Do you see similarities in the way your parents met with how you and how and she met?
He was about to say
that was close.
but yes, I do. My parents were introduced to each other due to friends introducing them. The way me and her met. I don't know if she wants me to say her name. That's why I'm not going to.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying my best as well.
Yeah. But it's like the way me and her met was kind of because friends made it happen. You know what I'm saying? I would not have met her if she followed me on IG and we texted a little bit just about music. But I never met her in person. If it wasn't for my friend encouraging me to go in there, or me encouraging them to go in there, I would have never met her. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, I thank God that it did, and I feel like that was God making it happen, you know? And we just started talking. It was rough for the first few weeks, because I didn't think she liked me at all. But
in the night,
but like I know it now, and the way I found out was so amazing, because I'm not finna put all her business out there.
Completely understandable.
So I'm not finna say.
Damn it! No, I'm kidding.
Whatever, bro.
I'm sorry.
But like, the way I told her that I liked her, and the way she told me that she liked me was, we were texting that day, October 16th. We were texting that day. I remember the day. We texted that day. She told me that she was near the what's that little pond in front of the Welcome Center, and she was sitting at the what?
No, your October 19th is when I had my first kiss with my ex-girlfriend.
Oh wow!
So her
that's
telling
crazy.
me that on October 16th is crazy. My birthday is May 16th. That's just
crazy.
Yeah, that's funny. Continue. I'm sorry. I was just a little baffled by how that life is beautiful.
Yeah.
Continue.
But she was sitting on the bench doing her homework, and I was like, we were finna go to a basketball game. Like, no, was it basketball or was it soccer? I can't remember. We was finna go to a game that ACU was having. Okay, and so like. She told me where she was. I was like, oh, I'm finna tell her today. I was like, you was like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, you know? And so I was hoping that she was by herself, which she was, thank God. And so we see her sitting there with her pink headphones and her laptop. I dap you up and I'm like, I got you, bro. I'll let you know when it's over, right? Mm-hmm. This is about 4:00. Right, this is at 4:00, and so she's just doing homework. You know, we get to talking and whatnot. She asked me for help, like to help her out with her computer and the Wi-Fi and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, this Wi-Fi is not gonna work. I mean, that's not Riz or anything that. I didn't lie about that. The Wi-Fi actually did not work, and I told her, yeah, the Wi-Fi did not work. But I was happy the Wi-Fi didn't work, so I could talk to her. But we were able to talk. You know what I'm saying? We talked about past relationships and whatnot, and everything like that, and what we were looking for in a relationship. She said she knew that she liked me already, and I, of course, knew that I liked her already. So when I told her about what I wanted to a relationship, I was pretty much telling her, like, this is you. This is me telling this. It was like me telling her that I liked her, you know, without actually telling her that I liked her, right? And so we just get to talking. We have, like, you know, deep personal conversations that I'm, of course, not going to tell anybody because that's between me and her.
Precisely.
And then we get up and just start walking around because it's cold outside. So we walk around, right? We find ourselves in front of the Onstead Science building. Is that what it's called?
I believe so.
Yeah, and we just sit down where the lights are, the changeable lights.
Onstead, yes.
Yeah, Onstead. Yeah. So we find ourselves just sitting on there. You know, we're still talking, and then it's silence. So I told you we met. We talked. I met her up there at 4:00. By this time, it's at a cool 9.
Oh,
9 o'clock, right?
Oh yeah, and you were there for a while.
Yeah, I was there for. I was there for the remainder until I had to walk her back for curfew.
Christian school curfew.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, but yeah. So we just sat there. We started talking, and then we were like, I was like, there was silence, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, am I gonna tell her? Am I gonna tell her? I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell her. I was like, I want to say her name so bad, but I can't. I'm like,
those who know. All right.
Ooh. I like you. And she's not. I'm looking at her, right? But she's staring. But she's looking this way, like not up, but like at a diagonal angle, but not looking right at me. But she's smiling though. So I was like, I kind of like knew. I was like, yeah, I did the right thing by telling her. And she was, and while looking like that, she was like, I like you too. And like
you would say that.
You can picture the way she said that, bro. And that's and the way you're picturing is probably the same exact way.
The smile and everything. Yeah.
The way she said it. So of course I was happy, you know. And of course this was something that I prayed about because it was like I got out of a situation that was horrible, and I'll never. Oh my gosh, she knows about it too.
You don't even need to talk about that.
Yeah, I ain't need to talk about that. That's for a story for another day. If there's a part 2 to this or whatever. But like, I was in a situation that ended horribly, so I wasn't even ready to be like, oh, I like somebody. Oh, I want to, You know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was never, not never, but I was not in a, until I met her, I was not ready to talk to anybody. I wasn't ready to get a relationship until I met her. I was close.
That was close.
I was close. I actually said it, but I said her name, but I was quiet about it. But like, but I was not ready to be in a relationship, talking to somebody until I met her and started gaining feelings for her, right? And so then we just start talking, not blabbing, but we start just talking about, like, you know, how we feel about, you know, relationships, and to let each other know that this is not going to be a sped up thing. This is not going to be something that happens tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take time. And we made it clear that this is something that God is going to take a hold of and mold and shape to his liking. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to force anything. Of course, boundaries are still set. Things are not going to happen until God says this is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's another thing. I thought I've been in relationships that were like godly relationships until I met her and started talking to her, where it's really become, this is a for real godly relationship. Like, this is like remove us and God works. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this is. And I'm glad that's what this is, because God's judgment and his opinion and the way he wants things to work will always be the right move, whether we think it or not. What he's doing is for the best of us, and what he's doing is the right way. So we, at this point in time, going on for, what's today? Today's Wednesday?
Correct.
We've been talking for 9 weeks. And, you know, I'm gonna meet the pops. I'm not nervous about that. Because, you know why I'm not nervous about that? Because I really like her. And the way I talk to her family will show that I like her and that I want something serious with her, you know, that I'm not here to just, you know,
play around.
Play around.
Reduce yourself to the parasitic dating culture of
exactly.
today's world.
They'll know that I have my own thing going on before I met her. They'll know I have my own things going on while I'm still talking to her. You know what I'm saying? So, they'll know. I gotta stop worrying about it, because it's like, of course I want them to like me. Woo, this is their daughter. I want them to like me and whatnot. But I gotta stop being like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? Woo, and just pray
and have faith. Know that God's already put it out there, and that technically the situation's already happened. You're just now going to experience it.
Yeah, because God already knows the outcome. It's just about him getting me ready to get to that outcome. So it's just, I think it's gonna go well. I personally think it's going to go well. And then, in turn, her meeting my parents, I think it's going to go well. I cannot
wait.
Yeah, I can't wait.
You have no idea how excited I am to hear the day when you're like, why met my parents.
Yeah, why are you excited about that, Delson?
Okay, after going to Grand Prairie and meeting not only... I don't know what I'm more excited for. I know. I don't know if I'm more excited for her being around your friend group like I was. Shout out to them. I love them. Or being around you, or meeting your parents and maybe your sister if she's not off at college at that point.
Yeah.
Shout out Gabby. We appreciate you. And I just... Because of and it's the reason I asked you about how they met, because despite the fact that we all like to create and forge our own identity, we are they say the sins of the father and whatnot, but in a different way to formulate it, we are the inheritance and byproduct of our parents' mistakes and their beauties. Everything that they have done throughout their life will and has influenced us. They are the first examples. They are the exemplar of how we see relationships, how we see dynamics, how we see people.
Yeah.
They're our first psychological memory. We form memories on their base. We stand on their backs and what they've done in their life.
Right.
So So, I'm very excited because based on what you told me and like seeing your dad and how he navigates in his bubble and how you navigate now, similar to how your dad navigates in his church and whatnot, you are your parents' son. You are entirely your mom, the sweetness, the consideration, the kindness, the majestic nature in which she frolics through reality with. You have that intelligent mind who is a teacher, best teacher in Grand Prairie.
Indeed.
And then you have your dad who is just has these tidbits of gems, these wisdoms, these wise bits that he can just seemingly drop out of nowhere. I can't say man a few words because he is a man of charisma. He is a man of God. He is a man of his own shield, and that is what you are becoming. And I'm excited for them to see and hopefully understand that this dynamic that you forge is very similar to the innocence that was once in their relationship and what it will devolve into when both of their kids leave the home. And it's at its beginning and preliminary phases. This is very abstract, but I'm equally as excited to see them and how she navigates with your friends because, as you said, you've allowed yourself to work away from that and start a whole new foundation and start it beautifully. Because you know how they say if you run away from your past, it'll come get you? It hasn't. Each of these people have their own beautiful puzzle in your intricate, beautiful puzzle that's nowhere near finished that we call life, to use it as a metaphor. And based on if she is the person you say she is, not only will you see it, I'm not as happy for myself, but happy for you to reveal the answers that will become clear and apparent to you when she meets your friends, because the way she interacts with them and the way they interact with her is going to make you so extremely happy to see. Because I remember with my ex-girlfriend and how I used to see her, like there were moments where it was like, well, my mom and them would interact and I'd look at it and I was always so nervous because I wasn't scared that my mom didn't like her. I was more or less fearful that my mom understood my spirit and understood her spirit and understood that it may not be as conducive as I thought. And I see you observing a lot of her interactions with other people to see if she meshes your spirit and if your spirits can coexist. The beauty of life is sometimes we meet souls again. And in those moments, I know that you're going to have kind of like an out-of-body experience in knowing whether this relationship is everything you want it to be and everything it is, because then you can put that all aside and also stop worrying. It's a very abstract concept, and all that said that I just said is very abstract. I wish it was more practical, and I had but the practical aspect of it is going to be watching each of you who are spirits dwelling in these fleshly vessels do things on a deeper level than just the flesh and allow each other to see what you are to each other. Because when you meet her family, she's going to be able to have that moment and assess based on what she sees. And when you get to, because your friends are beautiful people, your parents and your family are beautiful people. I can't describe in this English language what she does. Maybe I'll try and describe it in français. Oui, baguettes. Je peux essayer. But like, oh man, there was this word that I learned but no, I'm very hopeful that she gets to meet your parents.
Because I asked you that because you said something about my mom and how you feel like it's gonna go with my mom, or how my mom is. What'd you say?
I believe I said that your mom's she desires to meet her quite badly.
Yeah, why do you think that?
I think it was Nisi who said this statement. He said he was led by the Spirit. And I like to call it intuition, but because we trust on the Lord, I trust in Him. There are certain things that I feel on a more profound level that I can't really communicate. But when the topic comes up, something shifts entirely. And as you said, if your brother can notice that you're excited about somebody, and this is your mother, you were quite literally her for 9 months.
Yeah,
she was you. You consist of the beauty of birth and the process of it.
Yeah.
Then whether we like it or not, there's more, when we say mother's always right, mother knows best, mother's intuition, that's all true. Yeah. Because they are one with us and we are one with them. We cleave to one flesh, which is as the Bible describes when we have a wife. So in being that, she probably feels this very same excitement. Like just some examples of like when we were picking up the friends and she was like, oh, who are you going to bring? And she thought that you were going to bring this girl. And like you had no intentions of doing so, but she was excited, or she had even thought about it. She's brought her up more than anybody. Yeah. And I get that it's uncharted territory, but goofies.
But even
sorry about that. We got interrupted by people we're discussing right now. Their ears must have been ringing. even in what we've developed now, and even in what you two have allowed for each other to see of each other, it's so amazing to see how excited your mom is to meet her. Every time you'd say, oh, but I have to meet her parents, she was very quick to say, she has to meet us too. Like, I get that's typical, but she feels it. Not because this is new, not because this is something, but it's like the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. When I watched that film, it was beautiful. And then I watched this quote and it said, I actually just realized that if it's true love, it's more than falling in love over and over again, because their memories were completely erased and yet they still chose each other again, even after knowing how the outcome would be. Horrid. But even when you see the worst parts of a person, the love can grow over time. The rose that grew from the concrete. The rose doesn't always have to grow in the most fertile of grounds. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think? What are you more nervous for? Because my excitement is what am I more nervous for?
I just want to be a person that I don't know. I don't think I'm even as nervous as I make it seem. I'm not that nervous. I'm really not, because if I feel like what you're saying right now about how children are a reflection of their parents or whatnot like that, I feel like if there's a reason why she likes me, I feel like that her parents will like me just the same, you know, and think that I'm right for their daughter. So I'm not that nervous. And same to her. I don't even think she's nervous. There's no reason for her to be nervous, because if I like her and I'm willing to bring her to my parents, and I'm able to bring her to my parents, like this, because this has never been done before. I've never brought a girl to my parents ever. So if when my parents know and realize that there's a reason why this is happening, they'll be like, she's special, you know. And I'm not nervous to meet her parents. I just hope and pray that it goes well. Like, that's all it is.
As I sit here right now and say this, CM Punk, who, matter of fact, hasn't been in the WWE since 2011, music hits. He comes back in this glamorous, triumphant, never ever coming back to the WWE. Never ever touching foot in the WWE. Never ever standing in a WWE arena or anything associated with it at all. This might be embarrassing, but understand this. The CM Punk moment was the defining moment when I really looked at it from an onlooker and said, this could actually become something special. And I looked at it and I said, this man means so, because we both love wrestling. Yeah. You love it significantly more than me, but you allowed me to rekindle my love for a seemingly innocuous joy of mine that I haven't been able to enjoy in a while. For that, I thank you. But with CM Punk, he comes back for the first time in years. And what do we see? This man, Darius, hops up, gets excited, and says, I have to tell her what I think. I have to tell her. He didn't even get a chance to touch. He didn't sit down. He's still hot. He's still jumping up and down, sweating. He's still figuring this stuff out. His parents are sleeping in the next room, making all this obnoxious noise. And the first thing he says before, oh, forgive me, I need to tell her what this means to me. The significance, the shared moments. It was so beyond anything I can describe, because, like, you can talk about how much CM Punk's return meant to you and why this is so significant.
CM Punk is probably one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but it was like he couldn't be on my Mount Rushmore because of the fact that he left wrestling for 7 years and the way it happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Delta just said, we never thought we was going to see this man in the WWE ring ever. He said it himself, I'll never ever stepping foot in a WWE ring. And in the city of Chicago, the city that WWE travels to frequently, that always chants his name, but of course never gets a reaction from the wrestlers, nor like him popping up at all. Because WWE, when a show is about to go off, they have that little copyright thing in the bottom right of the TV, and we're like, oh yeah, he's done. They pan out like it's about to go off, and then you hear his music play, and it's like certain superstars that have that theme song, like John Cena, like dun, dun, and then The Rock, If You Smell, and then Stone Cold with the glass shattering. It's that little part in the theme song, the beginning, that just lets you know who it is without anything else showing up. Not the pyro, not the Titantron, none of that shows up. All you hear is that little part of the theme song, and you know immediately who it is. Mm-hmm. For CM Punk, it's like a I don't know. It's like yeah, exactly. It's static. Yeah, it's literally Cult of Personality. So when you hear that first part of Cult of Personality, you know exactly who it is, and he pulls up into a WWE ring after 9 to 10 years after saying he would never ever do it again. And that's such a defining moment, because he was one of those superstars when I was young that I was like, oh, I love CM Punk. Oh, CM Punk is my favorite wrestler. Boo, 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 boo. He leaves. And then he comes back 10 years later when I have a better understanding of wrestling. Mm-hmm. When things in the wrestling community have changed.
Tribal
in the business,
chief is in charge. Goodness, things come and go.
Roman Reigns is not the same person he was 10 years ago. You got to understand this. Roman Reigns was
suffering succotash.
Roman Reigns was the last person to pin CM Punk. No, Roman Reigns was the last person to have a match with CM Punk.
And that was what year?
In 2014. Uh-huh. And now it's 2023. Roman Reigns is the world champ, has been Universal Champion for like over 1,000 days. And CM Punk is in a WWE ring. That's something we never thought we would see.
LeBron was back in Miami when that happened.
That's what I'm saying. LeBron was in Miami. You know, it's just a lot of things happen. And to see him back, it was such a defining moment for nostalgia and your childhood and stuff like that.
And who did he think of first?
Yeah, I texted her immediately. I was actually on FaceTime with my brother because we were ready to see it happen at the same, because we were watching the whole what was it called? War Games match, the men's War Games match. We watched the whole thing with me, Delson, and then my brother on FaceTime. So of course, when we heard the music, we were all going crazy. And so, of course, like, you could text while you're still on FaceTime. I was like, oh, I got to text this to her. I was like, I put it all caps. CM Punk is back. And, of course, and apparently, her family watches wrestling, too. So she saw it, too.
And wasn't that the first wrestling event that she actually sat down to watch?
That was the first wrestling event and she's ever seen.
And you remember I told you the last wrestling event I had watched was the Royal Rumble when he got eliminated and then quit. And then the first wrestling event I watched when we come back to it
is when he's back. Bro, it's crazy.
God's will is beautiful, isn't it?
But yes, of course, she didn't understand the excitement because, like, it's her first time watching wrestling and whatnot like that. But it's like, it's so amazing because he's back. And I was able to, show her how excited I was and how important it was to me and whatnot like that. So, yeah.
I use the word metamorphosis so much because my English teacher back at youth school, Mr. Gross, I love him, taught me about a novel by Franz Kafka called Gregor. It's this guy that wakes up, and I don't have the full description or summary of the story. He wakes up, and he's a bug. They don't know what bug he is, but it was basically, they discover him to be a bug. They were disgusted by him, and he can't earn an income. He can't provide for them because he was a sole provider. And his family basically threw him away. He no longer had any worth to anybody as this bug. Gregor was just meaningless, walking, there's so many contrasts to make between Gregor and feeling like he wakes up as a bug and nobody sees him, to you, and not only just middle school waking up as this bug and feeling like no matter how much and how loud you scream out for help through all of this loud stuff. And we can't expect middle schoolers to understand. Yeah. Maybe adults, that's on them. But that is middle schoolers, you can't expect them to understand. So this person who didn't shift accountability, absorbed it, took it, and became their own help, and and you became your own metamorphosis. I guess that's bound to be the name of this podcast anyway, Metamorphosis. But shoot, again, CM Punk is back. Nothing else matters. He was on NXT. Isn't that crazy?
It's one thing for CM Punk to be back. It's another thing for him to be showing up as often as apparently
he's not a part-timer.
Exactly, he's not a part-timer. And apparently he's going to have his first match back with Dominic Mysterio on December 30th, the last Raw of the year, I think.
Do you remember his main critique to stars coming back like Brock Lesnar and them?
What's up?
Was that they came back part-time, and him not wanting to put over The Rock was because The Rock was just going to go shoot another movie.
Exactly.
Now he's in that position where he is head honcho, and he could easily sit at the top and do that thing and get But no, he's putting guys up.
But here's the thing.
He self-destructs at some point, but I'm hoping he doesn't do that.
I don't think he will because like here's
they know how to handle it.
Here's the thing that's what I was saying. That's what I was about to say, literally. Here's the thing between WWE and AEW AEW has so much talent on their roster they don't know what to do with, and then egos collide because all these wrestlers on AEW are so good and they deserve what they get and what the screen time they get. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And but when you don't utilize every superstar the way WWE is, you're gonna have egos collide, and then there's gonna be issues and problems, which is what happened backstage with CM Punk twice. So it's like WWE is older.
Triple H.
Way older. Like, as far as a company standpoint, it's way older. So if they lose CM Punk, they won't be tripping.
People are still going to get fed regardless.
Exactly. The production, the value of production went up when CM Punk was on screen in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
The value of production won't. I mean, of course, it's going to increase with CM Punk on the screen, but it's not going to diminish WWE's legacy if CM Punk leaves. You know what I'm saying? They're just gonna go right back to the same thing they were doing and just chill. You see what I'm saying? Like, they were chilling for the past. No, I take it back. WWE was horrid until 2016 SmackDown Live. Mm-hmm. That was fire. Then that went away, and then. It literally took the pandemic. No, I take it back because NXT is the greatest. It's the greatest wrestling promotion in the world. Black and Gold NXT was the greatest just span of wrestling I've ever seen in my entire life. But we're gonna get to that later. But WWE has established themselves and like has still stayed afloat for so long, even though maybe. We didn't like what WWE was producing because Vince McMahon is old and he doesn't understand what young people want as far as creative goes. But WWE has always been able to stay afloat for these many years and without CM Punk. And they're actually, with Triple H in charge of creative, they're doing way better.
Hi, Chinas.
Hi.
Do we have gum? I don't have gum right now at the moment.
Okay.
I am so sorry. I'll steal your umbrella one more time, though.
You're not gonna come back, so I need it, you know.
I'll keep it.
Do you know he's leaving school?
Yeah, he been telling me.
Oh my God.
Everyone knows that we're gone.
And you lied to me.
You want to say hi to the podcast?
Hi.
That's China. She is a very intriguing student, also an academic victim right now, and she just wanted to come and say hi.
Yeah, bye.
Later,
Bye.
China. We'll see you soon.
But
she wrote a card saying she prayed that I go to hell if I
that's
lied.
crazy.
Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Clark.
But the thing about what was
things
I
have
saying?
changed.
Yeah. So now with Triple H and creative, WWE is way better than it's ever been, especially with these international pay-per-views, Puerto Rico, Canada, Montreal specifically.
Yes.
Montreal, London with Money in the Bank. And all these Australia, I think they went. No, Australia is going to be Elimination Chamber, so that's in like December. So yeah, we gotta wait a month for another international. Like literally, Saudi Arabia, Crown, all that stuff. It's just been WWE's production has elevated since Triple H has taken charge, and now with the already established business that WWE is already in. Plus creative that can hold everybody together and that everybody trusts because he's already proven it with Black and Gold NXT that he knows what he's doing and he can keep people together and with his trust. And then you got CM Punk. There's no way WWE is going to let CM Punk, one, make a fool of himself,
right,
and two, allow that to stand.
And
you know
even if he were, it would end up in a storyline because they love heat. The WWE's fine regardless, as you said.
Because even Seth Rollins this past Monday said, "This is your last chance." Now, of course, it was a
work. But
yeah, it was a work.
Kind of right.
It was that when he said that, it was a work shoot. Like he was being for real.
Yeah.
But it was also for the fans. So, man, it's insane. Because it's true.
And it's fascinating because, like, to give context to what you said initially beforehand, which was about how you have worked towards becoming this not just social butterfly, but, well, we use the term butterfly a lot. Metamorphosis is perfect. To not only become that person for us and to go back to what you allowed me to do with your friend group. Although you don't seek validation, the validation stems from the point of me feeling a little bit like the Gregor, the bug in that story that I just mentioned, where I felt kind of alienated in a new environment. And I acclimate to new environments, but it takes me a little to warm up. Like if I'm playing a game, it takes me a while to shoot around. It takes me a while to watch. And that's actually foreshadowing to what ended up getting me into my groove with that friend group. It was basketball that broke bread.
It's not even just the friend group. Honestly, if we're just talking about you, all it takes, because it's like every situation. Hey, me and your mom's talking. She was like, just get him out of his room, and he's going to have an amazing time.
Yeah,
which you do every single time. I just don't want you to lose that, sense of, what's the word, exploration.
Nice. Yeah.
When you go off and do whatever it is that you do, I want you to be. I know it's hard, so I'm not saying you got to do it right now. Woo. But it's something that it's like, think about. Mm-hmm. I'm not telling you have to do this. I'm just suggesting. It's just my suggestion. You could take it however you want.
Your words are not.
Of course, that's what. When I give advice, it's like I'm just putting my input. You could take it if you want to take it. You don't have to take it. It's up to you. I'm just saying what I
put my head down and nod.
Exactly. No, that's crazy. But it's like, I'll say what I think would be cool. Now, whether you take it or not, that's on you. Hey, I just felt like I should have put it out there. So what I'm saying is, don't be cooped up. Explore, because you never know what memories you're going to get out of exploring.
BIR microphone group chat.
Oh, yeah.
What do you call that?
Beliefs into reality. That was...
Shout out to them. Shout out to Beliefs into Reality, because they took some of my core beliefs and brought into reality. I don't go out. Let's talk about that. I don't go out. So to not only go out in a new environment with these new people, these new friends, and then see them and play air hockey with them, play basketball. They are such... And then getting to speak to them individually on like individual levels and understanding. First of all, let me break... Do you think they'd be okay with me saying some names?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Darian, Zay, Leek, and was the 6'3"
Isaiah to be exact.
Isaiah, and then Anthony, correct? Anthony
Malik. Don't forget about Malik. Malik was there.
I said Leek, but Malik is probably makes more sense.
Malik, exactly.
For specificity.
And then you weren't able to meet him. We have my boy Draylon. He's the same exact.
Based on everyone, and then getting to interact with them and their experience, like understanding what... I hope he's doing better. I can't remember.
I hope so too.
I think it was Anthony.
I think he is.
I hope he's doing better. And then I hope Anthony isn't as much of a people pleaser. Not people pleaser, but kind of he was going through a situation, which is unfortunate, and I hope he's doing better. Yeah. And then getting to talk to Zay about some of the things that he's been going through, and then seeing a man like Darian become the most he was so... He can flip so beautifully.
So well. Like, and he'll be joking. We'll say some crazy funny stuff, and then he'll immediately snap to talking about God or be serious.
All such amazing souls. And even though, and it all ties back to the concept of, like, I know you probably don't see validation, but man, middle school you would be so proud because we ourselves are so proud of you.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think middle school me
would recognize it.
Nah, you probably wouldn't even take 2 seconds to look at it. You know what I'm saying?
But we as people who have gotten to see you at this point, and now understanding what you were at that point, man, like, before this gets out of hand in the sense of being 3 hours, because this is the purest 1 hour,
3 hours,
and 38.
I'll spill my whole lifestyle. I'm just playing.
I'm not worried about you, but last thing before anything is one thing I always do. You gave advice to me, but give some general advice to the mass 3 people who are all my mom who listen to this, and speak your piece and allow it to be free. What would you like if you had a microphone and you knew it was going to be broadcasted to the entire world, and you had unlimited time to get off a message. Actually, that's too much. You say everything.
Yeah,
if you had
of course. 2
minutes to relay a message, and I'm not going to give you 2 minutes here because that's crazy.
Yeah.
What would you say to the world?
What would I say?
Microphone to you.
Microphone in hand. There's so much.
Every part of the world, no matter what language they have, they'll understand it in their own language.
I would be like, excuse me. I would probably be
Excuse me is pretty good.
That's hilarious. But I would probably be like, don't be afraid of change, I guess. No, that sucks. But it's true. It's like, don't be afraid of change. If you see something is wrong with yourself and you want to correct it, correct it. If you see something wrong with the world, correct it. If you see something, like if you feel like you know you can change it, then correct it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. I know that may sound cliche or, ran through, or like people say it all the time, but it's true. Mm-hmm. It's like if people tell you that you can't do something, prove them wrong. If people don't think that you can change, prove them wrong. If people aren't willing to see the change, don't worry about them. It's like not totally close off the world or just that don't care about what people think or anything, but like don't care what people think, honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, people's opinions do matter. I don't care what nobody says. Every person thinks about what others say. Whether they say it themselves or not, they're always thinking about what other people say. Now, it's up to you to let it. Are you gonna let it make or break you, or are you just not gonna care? Which I don't care, because I get people that give me weird looks, lie, spy on me. Like actually, like when I met the person I'm talking to, there was a literal human being who spied on me and reported back to HQ about me. Like it makes no sense, but hey, yeah. But it's like it comes with that, being a good, genuine person, being a person who's trying to change for the better. It comes with people trying to bring you down, and once you realize that, the better. Cause like I have this friend who asked me, "How do you forgive?" It's like I didn't know how to forgive for the longest time. When you stop letting it bother you, that's when you can truly forgive. Like, it's kind of hard for me to speak because I don't know always what right words to say and how to say it. Cause then that's when people be mistaking my words sometimes. But what I mean is, once you stop letting whatever they say bother you, you can just like let it be, whatever it is, because it's like you can't control what people say. You can't force somebody to stop talking about you, but you can just be like, oh, they're talking about me? Oh, okay, cool. And then move on. And forgiving takes a lot. That's something within yourself that you have to be willing to do. And another thing. This is what I told Delson about forgiveness. I feel like I can forgive, and I should be able to forgive, because one, God forgives us every single day, and two, on the earthly aspect of it, I saw a trial where the police officer was on trial who killed a man's brother in his own home, and the brother hugged the officer. The officer. Yeah. I think he said, "I forgive you." I'm pretty sure that he said, "I forgive you." Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he said, "I forgive you." If that man can forgive the police officer while he's looking her dead in the eye, then there is no reason on God's green earth that I can't forgive somebody for just petty reasons. You know what I'm saying? Not saying you're going to forget it. Of course you're not going to forget. But like, for me at least, because everybody's different. Everybody does their own thing. Everybody everybody handles situations differently. But for me, it's like there's no way on earth that I can't forgive somebody for petty things if somebody could stare down or look into the eye of their brother's killer and sit there and forgive them. And God forgives us every single day. When we ask for it, he forgives us. And you know, and I know that we, as human beings, are some messed up people who do not deserve God's grace at all. But Jesus died for us, for our sins, so we have a way into heaven. And for that, we should be grateful for his love and his forgiveness. Because God don't gotta forgive us. God don't gotta do nothing. Like, he don't gotta do anything, but he does because he loves us. He doesn't have to forgive us, but he does because he loves us. And in order to, like, replicate God's, love and grace for other people, like it says, love your neighbors as yourself, you gotta show that love. A way to show that love is forgiveness. And that's why I think forgiving is so important. So, yeah.
Before I'm me stuttering. To expound on the concept of not talking or not taking things personally, it's kind of what you were trying to say is, we are the mirror that we reflect onto others. So oftentimes when we say other things about people, it is not merely something we should take personally, but a projection of our lives, which we then make manifest onto other people. So allowing yourself to not take things personally and understanding that most of the things we do is because of us and not because of that, because of them and not because of us. We stop taking things personally and stop subjecting ourselves to unnecessary suffering.
Indeed.
Because taking things personally will really kill somebody.
Yeah, man. It's like, you gotta leave a situation be. That's why I'm like, never go back with your ex.
The 4 agreements.
You know what I'm saying? Things change. Leave it be. Whatever happened 2 minutes ago happened 2 minutes ago. You're not going to get those 2 minutes back. You're not going to change those 2 minutes back. Yeah, you may wish you want to change what happened in those 2 minutes, but you're never going to get those 2 minutes back. So why harp on it? And another thing, don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow ain't here yet. All you know is, oh, yeah, I got a Bible exam tomorrow. I got an astronomy exam tomorrow. But I don't know what questions are going to be there on those exams. I don't know what's going to happen leading up to getting to those exams. I don't know what the outcome is going to be for those exams. So if I keep on worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, I'm going to forget what's going on in the present. Right now, I'm with my brother doing a podcast in one of the rooms of the library to the college I attend. That's what's happening right now, and that's what I should be focusing on. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happened, yeah, I may know what I'm going to do 10 minutes from now, 20 minutes from now, woo, but that's still 10 minutes from now. That's still 20 minutes from now. I'm still right here at 5:47.
1 hour, 46 and 58 seconds into this podcast.
On a Wednesday afternoon, just talking. And that's what I should be focusing on right now. I can't go into time and change or do what I want to do. I gotta just do what I can now.
Jit thinks he's Thanos.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, leave the viewers off of the song that you'd like them to hear if they're on Spotify.
Do the wire, do the living, do the before the chance to see with you, I really. Hold on, let me get to the verse.
Come on.
I drink a boost for breakfast and insure for dessert. Somebody order pancakes, I just sip the scissor. That right there could drive a sane man berserk. Not to worry, Mr. H to the Izzos, back to Wizard. I didn't spoil my mama, give her life support. Telling her son's on life support. And just imagine how my girl feel. On a plane, scared as heck that I got look like Emmett Till. She was with me before the deal. She been trying to be mine. She a Delta, so she been throwing that dynasty sign. No, used to be trying to be line. I've been trying to be signed. Trying to be a millionaire. How I used 2 lifelines in the same hospital where Biggie Smalls died. The doctor said I had blood clots, but I ain't Jamaican, man. Story on MTV, and I ain't trying to make a plan. I swear, this right here, history, and I'm making. Yeah, man.
And
real quick, hold on.
Come on.
Real quick.
All right.
I have a question for you.
Oh my
god. And it's a question that I asked you yesterday.
I haven't been on this seat in this seat in a while.
Yeah.
All right.
It's up to you if you want to put it in this podcast or not. Do you think I love?
Oh my god.
Do you think that she loves me?
Okay. I answered this briefly, but I'll tell you this. My answer can only be confirmed today. Do you understand? Okay, we spoke about middle school, we spoke about high school, we spoke about your friend group, we spoke about your family, we spoke about their dynamics and how it translates to who you are now.
Yeah.
We spoke about all of that. But the one thing you had trouble speaking of was ultimately your love for this person, which is because you don't have a hard time speaking about wrestling, and we spoke about it.
Yeah.
But you had a hard time capturing wrestling in the scope of how it was sentimental to you, her being the first person you reached out to. Not at all. At least not from my perspective. As this comes out and people hear it, I'll give you insight, because that's a question for you all. Is it like when you get to that part and you realize, and if people could see just how brightly you smile, just how much this room seemingly lit up. Well, you do already have a smile that lights up a room, but like how much more this room lit up when you smiled when talking about her. It was so glorious. I like you too. Like, yeah, that's exactly like how she said it. Yeah, I imagine she does. And I think that'd be an answer for her people to answer at one time, and you'll get your answer. But as for you loving her, oh my gosh, it's Maya Campbell, if you hear this, I need your help with this. You know it's obvious. It's obvious to me. But what I see, what I feel, like it's so... You have me standing up on a chair. I am standing on a chair.
Yeah, the reason why I asked you, though, is because you do mention love a lot. But it's like, we're still going slow. So it's like, you know...
Chicken is better when it's marinated.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I want to make sure that if it is love, it's actually love and not just love because you're saying it. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody could say love but not actually love somebody. You know, so I don't know. I hope I know I'm gonna get there to that point. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like it's just a matter of time me figuring it out at the pace that we're going. We're going slow, and it's good. So I haven't said those words yet, but I feel like they will come down the line once. Naturally. They're ready to be exactly naturally. That's why I was on the phone with her about yesterday. How natural everything goes. And how natural
your dynamic is gonna have me reading so much more poetry, trying to figure this out. Like reading, because I'm a foreigner to love. You, not as in like I've never loved somebody, because I did, and you are aware of just how hard it is for me to not just love somebody, but because of my own emotions and how conflicted I am up here, and because me prioritizing everything in life over the beauty. And it's a hypocrisy thing. I love the abstract nature in life. Like, if you ask me what I'm doing 10 minutes from now, I said, I don't know. Yeah. So, basically, I love the abstract nature in life, and I dwell in the abstract. That's where I dwell. But yet, when it comes to appreciating the abstractness of life, I can't do it. Yeah. And it's ugly for me, but it's beautiful. It's ugly for me, but it's beautiful to look at it through poetry and through that lens, or through anything that helps me to depict it. I would quote Frank Ocean's Pink and White and that harmonizing at the end, and say that that's probably, I don't know, what song are you reminded of when you see her? What song do you think of when you see her?
I'm reminded of a lot of songs. The one that came to my mind...
Mr. Boom... No.
Nah, that's crazy. No, the song that came to my mind first is... there's a lot of songs. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of songs. Because if you were to follow me on Instagram, and you would see my notes...
At Denise, check him out.
Yeah, and you were to see my notes, like... I put songs on there specifically talking to her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's a song that, when you said that, the first song that came to mind is Best Part by, I can't remember his name, but hers in the H dot, like.
Point R, yeah.
Yeah, that song. Is that what the name of the song? I just want to see how beautiful you are. Yeah. That song right there. That's one of them.
You're the best part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's one of the songs that come to mind when I think about her. There's a lot of the songs that come to mind. Like certain parts of Snooze by SZA. How can I snooze when I'm with you? What else does she say?
Miss the moment. Yeah.
Girl, you so important. Nobody like you do. Like that's another song that comes to mind when I think about her. It's just like Weak by SWV. I get so weak in the knees, I can hardly speak. I lose all control inside. It takes hold. And then they say, your love, it makes me weak. Like, that's another song that comes to my mind. So it's like, there's so many songs that come to mind when, I think about her.
I guess you're in love. Sometimes, as I said, art is abstract and love is art. So sometimes we can see a reflection of ourselves through the art that we listen to when we start seeing someone. Because despite the fact that y'all have like a 90-something compatibility on Spotify,
yeah, that's crazy. We did a Spotify blend. We did a Spotify blend because we already made a playlist, right? We made a playlist together, right? And because we didn't know how to do Spotify blend yet, but after when we did make the Spotify blend, they said you have a 90% compatibility. I was like, ain't no way. That's crazy.
My friend Maya is gonna eat this podcast up. I'm telling you, when she loves love. She's the greatest lover of love that I know, and that girl inspires me to look at love from a different lens.
Oh,
because I've been a hater of love for so long.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows me will tell you how much I hate love.
Now there's also parts of songs, maybe not the whole song, but parts of songs like what's that one song, Drake, baby, you my everything, you all I ever want,
best I ever had,
that part where he said sweatpants. What he say? Look,
keep talking while I pull it up,
please, because that's another thing. It's like a she could show me how she is with all makeup on, you know. She doesn't even wear that much makeup, which is, you know, but she could be all dressed up and whatever, and I think she's beautiful, and then she could be like just rolled out the bed and I think she's beautiful, you know what I'm saying? But it's that's what did it say? He said sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on, that's when you're the prettiest. I hope that you don't take it wrong. You don't even trip when friends say you ain't, what do you say, you ain't bringing Drake along.
The Drake along part we ignore, but like
that's
y'all get it.
But yeah. The sweatpants thing is like, you know, she don't need no makeup to be beautiful to me. Indeed.
Oh man.
But yeah, there's a lot of songs that come into my mind when
there's going to be a part 2, and it's gonna be with them sitting. But you know what? Let me not get too. Let me not get too ahead of myself. Until then, I want to say that in the theme of love yours, love, and love yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Keep going. You're just proving the point that you're in love. Keep going.
What's another song? Oh, it's a Jason. Just
Crooked Smile.
No, not Crooked Smile. I mean, Crooked Smile.
Ain't no such thing.
It's a life that's better than yours.
No such thing as a life that's better than yours.
Yeah.
No such thing. No such thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Sorry.
Why are you apologizing?
Because you were already ready to close out, so I'm like messing it up. So
no, you're not messing it up at all. This is actually amazing. Man, you're if your parents don't understand, just refer them to the podcast. Tell them to sit down for 2 hours. Yeah. The first 2-hour one that I've had, and listen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's worth every second.
2 hours? Are you serious?
It's 1 hour and 56 minutes.
Hey, let's make it 2. Let's just ramble for 4 minutes.
It to 2?
Let's just ramble for 4 minutes.
All right. Do you have any message that you want to say to people again now that about love? What about love would you like to preach to people?
I don't.
Not like you haven't said it throughout this entire.
I mean,
okay, it's okay to talk from a limited experience. Sometimes through a baby's eyes are nice.
I still don't. I'm still trying to figure out what love is. That's why I asked you the question, because it's like you see love.
I write poetry about love, and I feel it. I just don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I know
it's such a feeling that's spiritual and so great beyond anything that we can describe. It's transient, and I love transience. But what I know is that I myself have. I feel things on a deeper level than I understand. Than I can actually experience them.
So it's like, because that's why I asked you. What do you think? Because it's like I don't. It's not like I don't know, but it's like
it's hard. It's uncharted territory,
especially with the person that I'm trying to take things slow with, because I really want to be with her, of course. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm trying to do everything right. So I'm not rushing. I'm not trying to rush to say love, you know, when everything is still going the pace that it's going. So
I almost brought up a poem that my English teacher taught me from Mr. Gross. Shout out to him about a poem that it was one of these guys who fell in love, and he was like, it was like 3 wrongs. He was like, I don't regret falling in love. What I regret more are 3 things. I wrote about it. I wrote a book about it. I wrote a poem about it, and they're 3 of my best works. So now every time, and they broke up, and he's like, so now every time I go through it or get reminded of it, I'm reminded of that love all over again. And I think about that and not getting too preemptive or ahead of myself and getting too excited. Like, for my friends and whatnot. Because as for myself, I like to keep things to myself and not take things. Continue.
But here's the thing. Do you think that you will find love? I think you will, because the way you interact with people, it's like
everybody says this.
Because
I
it's
just
like,
don't see it.
That's what I'm saying.
I guess I can't feel for myself.
It's that's the thing too. When people see more in somebody than they see in themselves. So it's like,
that's why I told Nisi to see himself through other people's lens.
Exactly.
I help people achieve a treasure I can't achieve.
But here's the thing. I believe you can achieve it, because like the way you're interacting with people, you and my homie Javier, it's like y'all are two people that are really kind towards others, and it's just like I don't understand why y'all don't think so. I mean, no, let me take that back, because there might be reasons why y'all don't think so, and that's valid, because it's just like, that's you. But
I have to ask God to reveal that within me, because I just don't know how to describe it fully. But Javier has a game, all right.
Yeah, Javier got game. Yeah, but it's like you see people and the way they interact. And it's like I already know that this person is going to find the perfect, and that's what I told you. I'm like, Nelson, you're going to find one lucky woman that is going to be lucky to have you, and you're going to make her happy for all the days of your life. And I truly believe that, because of the type of person that you are. You know what I'm saying? You're already a loving, caring person who likes to help people, and when you're able to devote that to one person, and they realize that this is for them, they're going to be so over the moon, and you're going to have the best experience ever. I truly believe that.
I guess like wisdom is a pain and a beauty at the same time, because I'm not saying it's been attributed to me, but due to the position I've been in, I read a lot about both perspectives to help both perspectives, and in a sense, you kind of disassociate, not from yourself in a sense, but from the end goal and the end result. So let's say it was love, and I help other people get there. In doing so, I experience everything for them and fail to experience it for myself. So I kind of live through the collective consciousness of their brain and their experiences, instead of feeling it from my... I had this conversation with your shared experience person in when we were picking up dominoes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had this exact conversation, and it led to her revealing something so poignant that I myself had known, but it hadn't clicked. Predeterminism and free will to me never made sense. I never thought of the fact that God can have a preordained will, but yet we can have free will. But in a way that I can't fully explain it, she kind of just said it so simply that it made so much sense. It was kind of like, no matter what you do, you're not, like they say, the psalm where it's like you're naked to God, in a sense. Like, no matter, if I make my bed on earth, he'll see me. If I make my bed in heaven, he'll see me. If I step to the right when I think that I'm supposed to step to the left, God had both planned, and ultimately, no matter what I do, it's in his plan. So let's say past, present, future happening all at once, right? That's why I said it's already happened. We just yet to experience it yet. So let's say I think I take a misstep. Like if I say having a girlfriend because of what it was a misstep. It wasn't, because ultimately it was God's beautiful infinite plan through my finite mind that I couldn't comprehend. What if I hadn't done it? He had already thought about me thinking about what if I hadn't done it, and then given me a redemptive aspect to it. So let's say I go 0 for 20 one day, and I think about like basketball wise, and so what I don't understand is like she described it in a way that allowed it to make so much sense to me in the abstract that I've never been able to make sense of an abstract before. Because as I said, I love the abstract because that's the only real thing in life to me, which is ironic because like it's like pinning smoke to a wall. Can't do it, but I revel in doing so. I love it. So when she discussed that topic with me, oh, you two really could be something so beautiful. I'm thinking of a poem to write about it right after this. But yeah, she explained it to me so poignantly. Like before I even went to ACU, God knew that I would have trouble here, and eventually this would pan out. So even though I consider myself a lost soul right now, I'm not lost in his eyes. Like oftentimes we see the children of Israel wandering for 400 years around when they were in their promised land, which was a lesson as them being lost. God had ordained their steps, and in a sense, they gained direction through it. There's a lot more to be said about this in a more profound way, and with literature and time, because we're both still young, we'll figure it out. Although I need to stop remembering and trying to take the burden of all knowledge onto me and trust in God, because as I said, me saying this, he's already planned something out for that. My
Right.
prayers, she put it so beautifully. It was
Mhm.
so funny to see it laid out so simply to somebody.
Mhm.
Somebody who has gone through so much laid out so simply.
Mhm.
And then her communicating that to me, just for her to simply say how she understood God's plan through it, was so beautiful. Like the forgiveness story that you spoke about with the police officer. I don't know. It's just a reflective reality. It's now 2 hours and 4 minutes, and this is officially...
I thought we were going to... Oh,
no, this is beautiful.
No, because it was like there was one more topic that I wanted to discuss about.
I'm not going to stop you.
The homeless lady at Cane's.
Oh,
Let's talk about...
So, you remember how I spoke about breaking bread and kind of how I broke bread with your friend group with basketball?
Yeah.
When we gave her the Cane's meal from us all, the first thing she said was, sometimes you quite literally, the best friendships start off by breaking bread. And if you know about a Cane's meal, you know that there's bread within it.
Yeah.
And Jesus is the bread of life. There were there's so many philosophical and religious ways that you can take it depending on where you go from it. But understand that the human experience is universal. This was a human who was put there at a time where
that we needed it.
Where we needed it, where she needed it, where if you understand, we were at formal.
Yep.
We went to formal an hour late. If we don't get there an hour late, and I don't go back to get a friend I know named David, shout out to David, for a ride that he had already had and walk back at a certain pace, we don't get back to that car for Darius to then bump into this woman who clearly said that she has trouble getting there before it closes.
Yeah.
To then have that discussion until 1:30 in the morning from getting there at 9:30.
If that's not God, then I don't know what
are
is.
So many interconnected events that are like a spider web of events that just transpire that ultimately, when you look at a spider web being done, it doesn't look like much, but then you back up and you see it from what the finished point of view, and you really think to yourself in the greater picture, in the grand scheme, which is what it is a scheme. That is beautiful.
Yes.
Like, you started the conversation, and it just devolved into something more beautiful than any of us could have ever expected. What's her name again? This is so insensitive of me. I should have remembered her name.
I know it starts with the L. God forgive me.
God forgive me. We just spoke... Well, you know they say angels come as strangers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what it... Lucy... Is it Lucy?
No, can't be Lucy.
No. They're gonna eat at me.
Yeah.
But we're gonna figure out her name. And when you post this on Instagram,
we'll have her name by then.
Yeah, we'll have her name without a doubt.
But yeah.
But no, she was a blessing. For sure. Just hearing her story, it's just like, that's why I like listening to older people talk. Because, like, they've been through so much. And you learn from them. And my uncle, not my uncle, but my granduncle, who's 92. He could talk for hours.
You can just listen.
And hours. But he's been through so much. So it's not like a rambling fest. It's like he's teaching you in the midst of him telling stories. And that's what she was doing us. I don't think she understand that she was teaching us, but she was just going along, just talking and talking and talking. And in the midst of her talking, she was teaching us. And those were lessons that we had to learn.
Shout out to the Goofy Goobers, all the people within it, which I've already named diligently before. So just know that if you're hearing this, your turn will come. In the group chat, they were like, when will it be our turn? I'm like, man, let me get through the Goofy Goobers one by one. But no, like, I don't know. There's not much finality to this because this won't be the final time I speak with you.
No, it will not.
Because there's so much to update people on, and there will be so much
to talk about.
So to my mom on her 3 accounts, I hope that you enjoy listening to this periodically because, of course, quality over quantity, but every bit of quantity here is quality. So, as Darius said, one of the things he'd say to the world, if you had a microphone, excuse me. So, you know what? Excuse me. I'll give you the last word, and then you can press pause when you feel that you've done adequately at describing what you want to say.
All right, people. I hope to continue this podcast or talking with Delson specifically. So I pray that this is not the last time. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it will be the last time. There will definitely be more to talk about and more opportunities to do so. So I hope y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe and know that God is always with you. All right. Bye-bye.